There's a piece of advice that I keep hearing, and that is to lift your toes up when you're riding on your heel edge. Now, I'm not going to say this is completely terrible advice. It is a quick fix, but is it a good fix, a long-term fix? Absolutely not. And the problem with this advice is that you get given it when you're learning, but then as you progress, you never get told anything else. So in today's video, I'm going to explain to you why you should not be lifting your toes up when you're riding on your heel edge. So why might you have heard that advice? What does lifting the toes up achieve? Well, like I just did, it slows you down and it helps you come to a stop. It does that by lifting the front of your board up and tilting it onto a higher edge angle. And this is where you probably first heard this advice as a beginner when you're learning to slow down and come to a stop. Or perhaps you've been told it will help with your carving to really whip that board around. Let me just do it. Woo! In a tighter arc. Woo-hoo-hoo! Or even that it helps you achieve grip when riding on steeper slopes. And yes, you can do all those things because you've lifted your board up, so you've got a high edge angle. But my question is lifting your toes up the best way to achieve that angle? So let's just try. Wherever you're sat right now, really lift your toes up as high as you can and just hold it there. Really lift them up, point them up right towards the sky. And what you'll likely notice is this muscle down the front of your shin here. You can feel it kind of tense up. You can poke it and feel where it is. And this is your tibialis muscle. So keep lifting those toes right up. Sorry about Indy there. And you'll probably find already that just by holding this position, that muscle is kind of starting to burn a little bit already. You can really feel it there and it's starting to fatigue. Now imagine holding this position constantly. I'm really trying to lift mine up as high as I can right now and I can really feel it going. So imagine trying to hold this all the time when you're on the heel edge. You're going to really start cramping in your boots, your feet are going to start hurting and you're going to tire out really fast. So that's the first problem with lifting the toes up. The second problem is what can often happen when you lift your toes up. You end up locking your legs backwards like that. It doesn't feel good. And I talk a lot about good posture on this channel and not once have I mentioned any benefits of locking your legs back. So we have those two problems, but now we get to my biggest gripe with this advice. When you're lifting your toes up, you're effectively lifting the front edge of your board up. If I just put my hands underneath my toe straps, this is where you're applying the upward force underneath these toe straps here to lift the front edge of your board up like that. Now, just think, if you wanted to lift up something really heavy, is that the best way to go about it? Imagine the front edge of the board here is glued down to the snow and it's like you need to pry it open. In fact, Emily, can you just come over here and pop your foot on the front edge of my board there and I'm going to try and lift it up from underneath the toe straps. All good? So, I'm really pulling up here. Not just making those noises, I was trying as hard as I could and I cannot get that front edge of the snowboard to lift up. Now you might see where I'm going with this one. If you had something really heavy to lift up, you would use a lever. That's a much more effective way of getting something to lift up off the ground. And luckily for us, on our snowboard, we have two levers that have been designed exactly for that. These two things here, our high backs. Now, just watch. I'm just gonna use one finger on each high back and you'll see how easily I can lift the front edge of the board up, even with Emily's foot on it right there. So you're pushing down, pull back, okay? So a bit more pressure on it, make it difficult. Just using my two fingers there, you can see I can tilt the board up onto its edge with very minimal effort. So I need to apply pressure back against my high backs to lift the board up on its edge like it is now. And unfortunately, the way in which I do that, it's not as simple as just saying, lift your toes up. I need to bend my knees, my hips are dropped back behind the board, and you can see my shoulders are stacked vertically over my hips. If you follow the line of my spine, it will point down directly over the heel edge. That is where I'm sending all my weight. I have equal pressure through both feet, and I keep my shoulders in line with the board. So that is your heel edge position in a nutshell. And once you've got that, now you can start lifting your toes up. Wait, what? I just said you don't need to do that. And that is still true. You don't need to do that. By lifting your toes up, you're getting yourself in a maxed out position. You can't add in any more edge angle. My point is that you should be able to achieve that edge angle just by getting your posture right and getting your body in the correct position. Then if you have that, you've got this extra weapon in your arsenal. You can then lift your toes up as well to add in even more edge angle as and when you want it. Right now, I'm not lifting my toes up at all. And you can still get good performance and you can still achieve high edge angles just by getting your body in the right position. But if I start adding little lifts in, you can be a bit more dynamic with your movements. You can quickly alter the line of your board and you can retract it up towards you at the end of the turn like that. But now if I go to riding all the time with my toes lifted up, let me just show you. So they're lifted up to the top now. My riding is no different to what it was a moment ago. It's no longer dynamic. I can't add anything else in, so I can still ride okay, but man, that's not pleasant. Already my feet were starting to get sore by doing that. So my point is, you don't want to be making this movement, lifting your toes up all the time, nor do you want to rely on it solely to create that edge tilt underneath your board. Learn to put your board on its edge instead by getting your posture right and aligning your body in the correct position over the top of your board. Once you've done that, you'll be able to ride without lifting your toes up at all. It's going to be really comfortable and you can get good performance from your board. Once you've got that, you can start adding it back in, and that will allow you to be more dynamic and precise with the movements you make on your snowboard. Now, I hope that all makes sense. I know I went a little bit full circle with that one, but hopefully now you understand when you should and shouldn't be lifting your toes up and what it will help you achieve on your snowboard. So keep your questions coming in. I really love reading them all, and honestly, I do read all of them. I'm sorry if I can't reply to every single one at the moment. I really try my best, but it's just been crazy. I'm so busy right now, but I really appreciate you putting them all down there, and it gives me great ideas for new videos. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.